Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Isillar's podcast, the show built for Power Platform architects who are deep into consulting work. Every week, I bring you one tip, a real architectural insight which is drawn from real engagements. If you are really building enterprise solutions in Power Platform, including Dataverse, Canvas apps, model driven apps, having Power Automate, Copilot Studio, and Power BI, then this show is really for you. Stay tuned. The kind that comes up in kind of client workshops or interviews, even in architecture reviews. Okay, today is the first episode and we are starting with a question I get asked constantly. Okay, let's see. How do you decide Dataverse is the system of record versus when it should or only orchestrate the data and the data lives somewhere else? Sounds simple, right? Yes, it isn't as we think. And the getting this thing wrong is the most expensive mistakes you can make on power platform project. Yes, right. So what is this question really proving this question is really proving three things: your understanding about the source of truth design and where your integration boundaries should sit, and your awareness of the data duplication risk. Okay, when you note the three things and you determine what is the best, then you're actually thinking at the architecture level. Okay, so usually this becomes a nightmare when the project when project goes live and and it is 6 months from then. Okay, so now let's think of the architecture framework. So we need to understand what kind of questions we need to be asking to the whoever it is designing or giving the requirement. Okay, who owns the life cycle of the data? Once the project has been gone live, who owns the life cycle of the data? If the data is created, updated, and retired inside Power Platform, Dataverse is a system of record. Okay, let's say you think of case management or approval workflows or custom business entities. So Dataverse owns it. So Dataverse is a system of record in this case. Let's say a different scenario. In this case, if the data master is somewhere else, let's say you have another ERP system like SAP or Dynamics 365 finance and operations managing the products and other life cycle. So Dataverse should be a copy. It is not the system of the record. So you should only able to connect, not duplicate the data. Duplicating the data will result in an additional burden, and it is not an right architectural approach. You can use virtual tables or any real-time API calls to interact with the other system where the system of record is. And next three, you need to understand what is the ideal read writes ratio. Okay, how many reads or how many writes you want. Like you need to have this very proper way. You need to identify this what is the uh, ideal situation, because you are maintaining the stale data also while I'm creating a constellation depth. Okay, now let me tell you an ideal scenario where I have worked with a real world project. Okay, I work with a client, a large financial services firm. Okay, they're pulling customer data from their core banking system into Dataverse to a Power Apps Canvas app. I think it looked fine initially. 6 months later, they had two versions of customer records. Support teams didn't know which one to trust. That's not a data problem, that's an architectural decision that wasn't made clearly at the start. The fix, virtual tables pointing back to backend API, no duplication, single source of truth, Dataverse becomes orchestration layer, not the record owner. So, final key takeaway, I need to conclude this episode by giving my takeaway. So, you need to have a single rule of thumb where if data was a system of record, when only when Power Platform fully owns the data lifecycle. Okay, You Dataverse will be a orchestration layer when the data master lives somewhere else, and you just bring the data into our Power Platform for your life cycle operations, like for any of your operations you perform in Power Platform. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you for listening.